When I started to get more involved with running, right before I had this shift of, I want to pursue this fully, I ran this half marathon, no training, and I had these Saucony shoes that had holes in them. And so I think I ran like a 150, 140 half, and it's not my PR anymore, but at the time it was. And I remember thinking, wow, I wasn't prepared, I had shitty shoes, and I still did pretty well, especially with no training. And then I started to look into more of like how can I become a better runner. And so I wanted to talk about my running shoe rotation because this is a big part of it. Sure, I've had to work on my nutrition, different workouts, how to recover properly, stretching and strength training. Those shoes are a big part of it, right? And I think the running community just in general loves their shoes. Like, it's fun. I think the mindset for this, and someone told me this when I started getting into running, is you have to look at shoes as tools. And so what tool do you need for the task at hand? So maybe you don't have thousands of dollars to invest in shoes. If you're trying to get more out of your running, finding the right tools for the right job is important. And beyond that, having different shoes that you can rotate through, I think, is better. The other thing that got explained to me is the foam can sometimes in your shoe after you run, it can take up to 24 hours to reset or longer. And so if you run in the same pair of shoes every single day, or let's say you have a run on Thursday and Friday, and you run the same pair of shoes, it's just not fully reset by the time you have to wear them again. And that's at least what was explained to me. I don't know where the peer-reviewed study is on that, but I liked it. It made sense to me. And I think it's good. And that way you also spread out how many months you have with the shoe. Like, ultimately, yeah, it's the same amount of miles, but if you're running with 3 pairs of shoes throughout the week or 2, then though they last longer in the sense of over the course of months, and that might get you more time to save or put money towards shoes. So it does take a big investment. I think either way, it's still dollars in and dollars out. But I wanted to talk about what I found that worked for me. And this has helped me avoid injury and just become more fit as a runner. So I'm a big believer in Ultra, or not even Ultra, I mean more the zero drop or more minimalist style shoe. I love the wide toe box. I got big feet and big toes, and so I get blisters easy. And so one of the things I did to mitigate blisters was toe socks. So I like Injinjis. It helps because there's like an extra layer between your toes because, each toe is in its own little, cave, right? Whatever you want, however you want to look at it. And so that helped, but a big part of it was the shoe. And I just believe fundamentally our feet aren't meant to be in these little like casts that are super narrow and pointed. And I guess I should say this, if you have something that works for you, keep on it, right? Like, I don't want to fix something that's not broken. I think feet are broken in a lot of sense, and a lot of people struggle with certain things, and they're trying to find out what's the right shoe that works for them. So I like Ultra, and I have worked into these over time. So I think it's important to understand if you're not used to zero drop or these wider shoes, and you just start to run your 40 miles a week or whatever, and you just completely make the switch, I think you do run the risk of maybe hurting yourself. And I've heard a lot of people online shit on Ultra because they started running in it and they got hurt. If your feet are used to something different, like making a dramatic shift to something that's kind of a fundamentally different style or foundation for your running, it makes sense that maybe you would hurt yourself. I just have found that it worked for me, and one of the ways I did this is I did some of my runs in Ultra and also walked around in barefoot shoes. So over time, my feet got more it got more in the place where it could handle these things, opposed to switching from this like 6 millimeter drop into running all my miles in zero drop. So let's talk about what I do for running currently. I'm training for a 100-mile race. I have a 50K in about a month. The 100-mile race is in 2 months. And then I'll be running a marathon later this year. I'm shooting for a sub 2:45. So this is what I'm doing currently when it comes to rotating shoes. One, so I'm not using them every single day, and so the foam can reset. And 2, I have the right tool for the type of workout I'm trying to do. So the most common run I do is an easy run. Even on my long runs, they're pretty easy. So like zone 1, zone 2. So I like the Ultra Paradigm. I think there's enough cushion in here that it's good for long runs, and it's just a simple trainer, shoe that I really enjoy, and it just fits my foot better. I used to do the Ultra, what was it? The Torin, and when they came out with the 5, it just didn't feel the same. So I switched to the Paradigm, and I like these a lot for just your typical easy runs. Now, I also do a lot of speed work, or I guess like 20%, 30% of my mileage is in like speed work. And so I like the Ultra Vanish, which is carbon plated. I know everyone's like, this is a big thing. It's been a big thing for a while. But this is the shoe, well, not this exact shoe, but this is the type I use to break 3 hours in the marathon. And I just have found that they're super bouncy, they're light, really nice, also cost a little bit more, but I'm not always doing speed workouts, so I can just use, like, I'm not always running fast, so I just use this when I'm doing like track workouts or maybe some tempo work, just out wherever I'm running. Really like these. I've had 3 pairs of them, and I mean, they also just fit my foot better and have a little bit wider toe box, so that's great. Now, Zion 100 is a trail run, and I did this 2 years ago, and I'm going back to try and break 24 hours in the race. And so I need trail shoes for when I'm running trails. And so I do a lot of road stuff just because it's easy and I don't have to drive anywhere. But when I have a trail type of run, I run in the Timps. I used to do the Lone Peaks. I mean, I still have a pair. I use them more for hiking. But the Timp just seems to be enough. Like, the Lone Peak seemed a little thinner to me, or not as much like cushion and support. And so running 100 miles, I like having a little bit more support and cushion. And the Timps just seem to do that. I like also the way it fits around my ankle, so I'm not rolling things as much, and it just happens to work for me. So I'm in a 10 for most running shoes. That's my foot size. And the Timps have been great. Good traction, also not too heavy. And yeah, just feels good. It feels like I'm, just running on pillows. Like, it supports me well enough. So those are the shoes I use and what I kind of rotate depending on the workout. And so, hey, maybe you've used the same pair of shoes for 5 years. I'd suggest maybe looking into another pair. And if you can, get a second pair. Or maybe you're just kind of doing a run every other day, and so that foam can reset. At the end of the day, I don't think it's like the biggest deal, but when you're trying to get every inch of gain or do everything you can to get better, I think having a running shoe rotation is helpful. And hey, you could do the same thing with Hoka or Nike or whatever shoe brand you use, or maybe use several different shoe brands. Just the idea of having a rotation, being able to let the foam reset, and then you have the right tool for the right workout, I think goes a long way in getting better and avoiding injury. If you like running content, my name's Reese. This channel is just about that. It's that simple. I'm trying to help people learn from their mistakes, and if they can set course records or PRs or just enjoy running better, that's all I could ask for. So if you like that stuff, I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace.